All right, Monday Night Raw is over. Let's talk about it. Some interesting things happened on Monday Night Raw tonight. Let's go over it. Let me know what you thought about Monday Night Raw in the comments. And please, if you haven't hit that follow button, I really do appreciate it. Let's get to the main event tonight where we saw a returning Royce Keys, who was taken out by Jacob Fatu a couple of weeks ago, but this time comes back with some company of OTM from NXT. Now, I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter kind of questioning this doesn't make any sense. Why is he attacking LA Knight and Solo? Didn't he just team with them at WrestleMania? Well, yeah, he did. He did team up with them at WrestleMania. And they won. But where was LA Knight and where was Solo when Royce Keys was getting attacked and beat up after his match with Jacob? If you tend to forget, he was attacked and taken out by Jacob a couple of weeks ago, and LA Knight nor Solo came out and helped him. So I can understand his frustration and why he's upset and did what he did tonight. He took out everybody. He took out the Usos, he took out LA Knight, and he took out Solo as well. Love to hear the explanation about this. I'm sure next week on Raw we'll hear Royce talk about why he did what he did and why he suddenly turned heel, which I think will work better for him. But I actually kind of thought having him do what he did tonight, now with a faction, him as the leader, I think it can really work. I'm interested in seeing what they do next with this. Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee. If you have not seen Raw tonight and you're watching this just to see how the show was, or if you did watch that match tonight, you are in for a classic match tonight. Now, again, lucha wrestling is not for everybody. You know, it's not your kind of ground and pound type of wrestling. It's high flying, it's flips, it's all that type of shit. But on WWE television, you rarely get that. Unless you're watching AAA or maybe some NXT, you're not seeing a lot of these matches where you see a lot of these high flying moves. It's very minimum with some of the guys that you see on our television screens in WWE, that is, at least, where you see these type of matches. And they gave Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee time. They were able to go out there and perform, and they had a fantastic match. Right up there with last week's match with Gable and Rey Mysterio. Man, this match was great. Rey Fenix picks up the win, moves on to the finals. On the other side, it was Penta versus La Parka. Obviously, they had a big... they had to follow that match, and they couldn't. It was an okay match. Penta did pick up the win. And I think we all knew the finals would be Penta and Rey Fenix, and that's what we're getting next week. Penta versus Rey Fenix for the right to go to face Roman in Mexico City for the World Championship. Really looking forward to this. Obviously, I think Penta's gonna win. It just feels that way that Penta was going to win this tournament to begin with. It would be shocking to see Rey Fenix win. I don't think that we will see him win, but I'm looking forward to this match next week. We also saw Stephanie take on Roxanne. Of course, shenanigans happen. Judgment Day get involved. Becky Lynch comes down and tries to make the save. And then they announce in 2 weeks in Mexico City, we'll see Stephanie versus Liv Morgan for the Women's Championship. Well, it looks like we're going to be getting Chad Gable eventually versus Ethan Page for the IC Championship. We had a backstage segment with those two. I just thought overall Monday Night Raw was a solid show. We got some more story development with the Royce Keys return and with OTM being with them. Solo, again, dude's a fool with that opening segment with LA Knight and the Usos. We do get Roman Reigns next week on Monday Night Raw. They did announce that. But I just think overall, Raw flowed a lot better tonight. We had Cass make his in-ring return finally against Javon Evans, and a competitive match. I know a lot of people probably were thinking Javon was going to go in there and get squashed, but he did not. He had a competitive match against Big Cass. Big Cass gets the win, which obviously he needs. It doesn't hurt Javon too much because Javon's been on a winning streak as of late. But Big Cass picks up the win. I don't know what you do next with Big Cass. Do you still have him feud with Javon, or do you have him start attacking smaller guys, and that's his thing, where he attacks smaller wrestlers? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see what the development happens with Big Cass after his win versus Javon Evans. I almost forgot one other key opponent thing tonight, which was Braun Breaker and Oba Femi's contract signing, which I thought was pretty good. Braun is still offended about Oba Femi being labeled the future of WWE, all because he beat Brock Lesnar. And he's still teasing that Paul Heyman is Oba's daddy, as he called him tonight. And I thought the segment was good. You know, he had Austin Theory end up coming down and trying to overpower Oba with Braun, and it didn't work. Oba ends up getting the upper hand, and you see JD go through a table tonight. But I really like how they're building up this match. Again, I'm not excited to see Braun lose, because I don't know what you do with him next after that. Once he loses to Oba is the biggest concern for me, is what do you do with Braun next? Obviously, he's still a tag team champ, but taking a loss to Oba is going to hurt him. So let me know what you thought of Raw in the comments below. You excited to see Royce with OTM? And what was your overall thoughts on all the matches that happened on tonight? Make sure you hit that follow button. See you next Monday night for Monday Night Raw.